Come on, who's already been blessed this morning by Voices of Lee? Hey, Pastor Scott is not here today. He is actually in Cambodia overseas right now. He is visiting with a lot of the people in the communities that we get to help through Buy a Tree, Change a Life when we raise money at Christmas time. But I know he sends his regards. I know he's praying for y'all this morning. And I wonder just through the live stream if we can let our pastor know how much we love him today. Come on, give it up for Pastor Scott. We love you, Pastor Scott. And we are going to have the Voices of Lee come back up in just a few moments, and they're going to continue to sing and minister today. But before they do, I want to bring a quick word of encouragement, and then we're going to invite our prayer team forward to pray with anyone who wants prayer today. But I want to talk about a story in John chapter 21. John chapter 21, and this story takes place not very long after the resurrection. And I figured since we're coming off of the week where we celebrate the resurrection of Jesus, that it would be fitting to talk about life after resurrection. Life after resurrection. And if you read about and you hear about the stories of the disciples after the resurrection and how, man, the church is just exploding and they're seeing all these miracles, signs, and wonders. And when you hear about all that, you might think, well, life for them after the resurrection was just perfect and easy and glorious all the time. But how many knows that actually just really wasn't the case? Because even after the resurrection, they had a lot of trials, they had a lot of struggles. They had the normal pressures of life still. They still had to take care of families. They still had to pay bills. And you know what they did not long after the resurrection? They didn't go straight to ministering to the multitudes. They didn't go straight to baptizing thousands of people. The Bible says in this passage in John 21, they actually went back to work. They went back fishing. And I'm not talking about like luxury guided tour kind of fishing. We're talking about physical, hard work, manual labor kind of fishing. And in this story in John 21, they go back to work and it says they fished all night. All night. Now, I'm a pretty impatient person. And so if you take me fishing and we're on the water the whole night, we better catch something. Right? We better haul in at least one fish. But the Bible says they went fishing all night and they didn't catch a single fish. Imagine how frustrating that must have been. I mean, they're putting in all this effort, getting the boats ready, casting the nets in, pulling them back in, casting them again, pulling them back in, and they can't catch a single fish. They do this all night with zero results. And for some of you, you might have come here last week on Easter Sunday, and it was an amazing day. You had cute little Easter baskets for your kids prepared when they woke up in the morning. Y'all all put on your little matching pastel outfits to get you a cute new Facebook picture out in front of the photo booth, but you're never going to wear the outfit again. You know, you saw the Easter production, and man, it just made you even more in love with Jesus, even more passionate for Jesus. Maybe even you got saved last week. You heard the gospel and you gave your life to God, and you went home and had an incredible Easter lunch. And the mother and the family, you had that table spread out just right. You cooked all the delicious dishes. Come on, you even pulled out the nice silverware and plates for Resurrection Sunday. You had that dinner table looking like it could have been in a Paula Deen magazine. Right? It was a great day. And then you went to bed and an alarm went off at 6 a.m. And you had to get up and you had to go to work. And maybe coming out of Resurrection Sunday, you had a week that was a little bit frustrating, kind of like the disciples had a frustrating night not very long after the resurrection. Maybe some things didn't go your way this past week. Maybe you went to work and you got into it with some employees. Maybe there was some things in your family and in your children and in your home life that you didn't see it coming, and it was so frustrating. And I don't know what you might have gone through this past week, but this is what I know. Life after resurrection doesn't mean everything's going to be easy. But I love this part of the story in verse 4 through 6. John 21, starting in verse 4. It says this: at dawn, Jesus was standing on the beach, but the disciples couldn't see who he was. He called out, "Fellas, have you caught any fish?" "No," they replied. Then he said, "Throw out your net on the right-hand side of the boat, and you'll get some." So they did, and they couldn't haul in the net because there were so many fish in it. And I love that after the resurrection, Jesus kept showing up in their lives. And he didn't just show up when everything was going well. He didn't just show up in the moments where they were just celebrating victories. No, he showed up in the mundane moments. He showed up in the frustrating moments. He showed up when they had been fishing all night and hadn't caught a thing, and they were upset and frustrated. And I came to remind some people today, no matter what you're going through in life, Jesus is going to keep showing up in your life. And now, in this story, Jesus didn't show up as soon as they wish he had, probably. It wasn't until they had fished all night, they worked, they labored all night and had zero results until Jesus finally showed up. But listen, one instruction from Jesus to say, "Hey, just cast your net one more time." One instruction from Jesus changed everything. One moment in the presence of Jesus changed everything. And maybe today you feel like, man, I've been striving, I've been working, I've been toiling all night, kind of like the disciples, and I'm so frustrated because I can't seem to get where I want to get in life, and I'm not getting the results that I want to see. I want to tell you, don't be discouraged by the lack of results. Don't allow the enemy to kill your hope because you're not seeing everything that you want to see. Don't allow the negative doctor's report cause you to lose your faith. Because just like the disciples, it may not happen just when you want it to, but one moment in the presence of Jesus, when he shows up with power, when he shows up with healing, when he shows up with joy, when he shows up with peace, one moment in the presence of Jesus can suddenly change everything. And so, voices, y'all can go ahead and join us back on stage today, and I'm going to ask the prayer team to go ahead and come forward. And if there's any need in your life this morning, big or small, whatever it might be, God sees everything that you need even before you ask. And we want to agree with you in prayer this morning. So as Voices of Lee continues to minister, these altars are open for the next few moments. And you're welcome to come forward and receive prayer. Maybe you feel like you're one of those disciples who's been in the boat all night and you're frustrated. Maybe you even feel like giving up, like what's the point in even trying anymore? I want to tell you, cast the net one more time. Don't give up, because you never know when the moment is going to come. And so this morning as we worship, these altars are open. You're welcome to come forward.